What's going on, everyone? This is Mauricio back at it again with another video for you guys. Today we have a rainy and chilly morning, but we are headed to a customer's home to knock out his 2019 Ram 3500. We're just doing the front windows in the legal limit of 25% here in Texas. This time we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to record myself doing the front window just to see how long it takes. We never want to rush a project, but sometimes we just want to know whether or not we're improving. While speed is something that comes naturally, this is not something that you should force. Then just know that the more you do something, the more repetitions you do, the more you become a master at it, and the quicker that you get automatically without having to sacrifice the quality of your work. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on this truck.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off by removing the gasket from the door panel. So once you roll the panel back on this one, it's fairly easy. It just goes right over the gasket. Use your pick tool here to go ahead and pop it out. And just go ahead and set it aside so we can go ahead and start the cleaning process of that window. All right, guys, so here, as you can see, I'm cleaning the window with a synthetic clay sponge. Once we go ahead and get all of that window cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and squeegee all of that soap out of the way. So we're just going to go ahead and spray all of the edges, all the seals, to make sure that we try to get all the dirt to go all down to the corners. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure that we have a clean top edge. We're going to go ahead and wipe that down. Go ahead and clean the top half of that window as well. Go ahead and clean all the edges, the top. As you can see, we already have this plotter cut. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just prep it here on our peel board. This peel board essentially is just plexiglass that I use. I always put it in between the door. Being mobile, it definitely helps, especially when it's windy. Instead of having to peel from the other side of the door, you can just go ahead and peel from inside. Helps out a little bit with the wind. All right, so we're going to do one final cleaning here with our orange crush. Go ahead and just wet the window, spray water in the seals, and get it ready for install. So spray the liner, make sure there's no static. It is raining today, so of course, that does help with, there not being any dirt floating around in the air. So go ahead and start by putting in the corner first. As you can see, a little bit of wind came there. That's the reason why I grabbed it from the top. You just had to make some adjustments being mobile. So the top doesn't fly away and hit the top of the seal. I always just hold on to it and then just, put it in there seamlessly. So go ahead and line up your top edge. Make sure, it's consistent all throughout. Again, this is plotter cut, and the DigiCut actually does an amazing job so far with the patterns on the newer vehicles. Now, our solution here is a solution that I used yesterday. It's 2 ounces of Johnson & Johnson's with 1 gallon of water. Now, today it is a lot colder, so as you can see, the film wasn't adhering to the glass very nice on this instance, so we're gonna have to do a few more presses just to make sure that it does stick as it was moving around due to the amount of the solution. So make sure that after squeegeing it, it didn't drop down or you don't create an uneven gap on the top. Once you're happy with the gap, go ahead and put the window up. You're going to go ahead and squeegee the remainder. As you can see here, the film got caught up, so we're going to go ahead and just pull it back and let it slide into place. That way you don't create a crease. Okay, so we're going to use our contour tool just to push out any water that may be remaining inside of the gaskets. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and seal the edges here, make sure that there's no remaining water that's left. Okay, go ahead and roll your window down now. So that's the installation of the window tint. We're going to go ahead and put the gasket back on. Now, again, the gasket itself on these is fairly simple. The only thing on this one here is it does get caught up a little bit on that edge where the lock is at. So just go ahead and take your time, make sure you don't break anything. But this is just me in the process of putting that gasket back into that door panel. All right, so once you have that gasket back in place, this one rolls back on pretty quickly. As you can see, you just go ahead and roll it back and push, and it should fall into place. Go ahead and start on the lock side and end all the way on the opposite end. Once it's done, just go ahead and wipe your panel. We didn't cover this panel since it's plastic. Just go ahead and make sure that if they do have the leather stitching, to cover those, as those could swell. Go ahead and review your work. Make sure there's no contamination, no specks, no creases. And once you're happy, go ahead and call the client, let them know that their truck is ready, and collect that check.
And that's a wrap, folks. So as you can see, fairly easy install. This ram does have a torque screw that does go on the outside of the panel. On the top, that does make the gasket removal a lot easier. Unfortunately, I did forget my torque screws at home, so I was unable to remove it. But again, luckily, it still comes out. It just makes it a little bit of a tight squeeze. But for this job, we were in and out for about 25 minutes from prep and cleanup to putting everything back in the car. And this is how much we made just in a quick 25 minutes. If you haven't started mobile tinting, then what are you doing?